So this is a picture of a roundworm. It was dead, thank the good Lord, that someone sent in that they had passed, after doing a parasite cleanse, they had passed out of their body. And then let me show you some of the actual critters, okay? This is a pretty good size roundworm. It has shrunk a little bit. It's probably an acetone, and which is what's best to keep it in, which is fingernail polish. And it was probably about 4 or 5 inches long, and it shrunk up just a little bit after being in the acetone. But that's a really good specimen that someone sent in. So whoever you were, thank you for your worm. The audience appreciates it so much. Now this one's kind of funny because I recognize this bottle after having 8 children. And this is a baby juice bottle jar that you just take this cap off. So this person, they either had a baby that passed this. It is kind of a baby roundworm, or they had some extra little bottles sitting around. But this is a little baby roundworm. It's not even a baby. It's about 3 inches long, but it is a smaller one than the other ones. And then this one is just great. This person apparently passed 2 at one time, and they had twin roundworms. And it's, I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty disgusting. I don't know if you've ever seen a real leech. Growing up in Florida, if we went through the swamps and went fishing and stuff, sometimes we'd get leeches, and that's kind of what that looks like. It's just pretty gross because they want to attach to the skin and suck your blood and all the nutrients and so forth also. So roundworm, absolutely one of the worst parasites and the most common. In fact, it's been estimated that the roundworm has infected, I hope you're ready for this number. I hope you're ready for this. That the roundworm has infected at least 644 million people worldwide, and this estimate was actually done in the 1940s. So 644 million people. That's a lot of people. That's pretty amazing. And the horrible thing is that most people never know that they're infected. They never know that they're infected. They have various symptoms. And in fact, let's talk about some of the different symptoms, because so many of these symptoms, people will just think, oh, well, I'm having this issue, I'm having that issue, because they're just, miscellaneous things, never ever thinking of taking this back to possible parasites within the body. And yet, studies are showing 85% of Americans have parasites. So here's some of the signs. Itchy ears, nose, and even anus. Yes, I'll just let you take it from there. For men, it can be sexual dysfunction, and for women, it can be various problems with menstrual cycles. Forgetfulness, unclear thinking, slow reflexes, gas, bloating, burning sensation in the stomach, and with that, I will add cravings. People that have very, very intense cravings. I want to say to you, please do a cleanse, because so many times people will think, oh, I just have no willpower. I have, and they're just beating themselves up, and the devil is right there to amplify it. And yet, if you have a parasite on the inside of you that is causing you to have these cravings, a sugar-loving parasite on the inside of you, you got to get to the root. As I always say, Jesus said, lay the axe to the root and get rid of that root issue, and all of a sudden the symptoms will go away. But gas, bloating, various stomach issues, loss of appetite, eating more than normal, but still feeling hungry, and that would go along with the cravings too. Fast heartbeat and actual heart pain, drooling while sleeping, damp lips at night, and then dry lips during the day. In other words, people always feel, and I got to tell you, people ask me all the time, why is this that? Why would I feel like that? Why are those? The next symptom is grinding teeth while sleeping. Well, parasites are definitely most active at night. They're working typically in the digestive system and the intestinal tract. So you've got all this activity going on down there while you're asleep. What is the reaction when you're trying to digest food and you're eating? Digestion starts in the mouth as you're chewing. So this whole process, people tend to drool, people are grinding their teeth. One of the number one symptoms is people grinding their teeth, which, it's a horrible thing, and if you live alone or don't sleep with anybody, you may not even realize that you're doing it. Sometimes people go to the dentist, and the dentist will say, hey, did you know you grind your teeth? Bedwetting is another problem. Numb hands, pain in any part of the navel, back, thighs, and shoulders. Lethargy, a yellowish face, and that comes from a lot of liver flukes that might be, of course, hanging out in the liver. Yellowish tint to the skin and even in the eyes. Slow reflexes, blurry or unclear vision, teeth clenching where people just clamp down, various skin problems, various sleeping disorders. In fact, a lot of times when people have a lot of parasites going on in the intestinal tract, they tend to wake up 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's very, very common. Nutrient deficiencies, and mentioned that a little earlier, where these critters are, literally thriving off the nutrients in you. Some of the symptoms of that would be anemia, immune system problems, various symptoms with the immune, forgetfulness, excessive weight, and asthma. Some people just cannot lose weight. They don't understand why, but they cannot get rid of the excess weight. So once again, we have to do a cleanse. It's just really Health Basics 101. We do it with our farm animals. We do it with our house animals, and it's just very, very good for us to do with ourselves. Now, we talked about roundworms being the most common, but let's talk about tapeworms. I think that's something that we've all heard of, right? Who hasn't heard of a tapeworm? But most people think of tapeworms, most people I've talked to talk about tapeworms that would be in pork, right? But let's talk about that. The beef tapeworm occurs in people who often eat raw or just rare meat even. And of course, if you're not eating good meat, and even if it's good meat, depending on where that cow's been, he might have gotten something. It's the second largest tapeworm, averages 13 to 39 feet. 13 to 39 feet in length. Longer tapeworms have actually been found in the small intestine of men. In some people, the beef tapeworm can cause abdominal pain. These are some of the symptoms: abdominal pains, weakness, just overall weakness, loss of weight, nausea, dizziness, and other various symptoms. Toxins produced by the worm can produce convulsions, confusion. If the head of this tapeworm digs in too far into the intestinal wall, these injuries can be infected with bacteria and lead to ulceration of the intestinal wall. That's disgusting, isn't it? That's just, and yet these are very, very common symptoms of various disorders. The pork tapeworm has hooks in the head and suckers on the body that attach to the intestinal wall. It absorbs food via the entire length of its body. Metabolic waste are absorbed by the host. So think about it. Okay, so parasites are eating your goods, eating your nutrients, eating other, feces and so forth. So what do? They're going to excrete. Well, then you have a whole other issue with these toxins that are building. Metabolic waste are absorbed by the host, producing toxic manifestations and intestinal obstructions, sometimes resulting in the actual worm balling up and remaining in the gut, causing many other problems, and then causing other worms. If the worms, like with the tapeworm, if you break part of it off, if part of it is passed, it will absolutely grow back, kind of like a lizard, and you cut off their tail and it grows back again. You people that didn't grow up in Florida or Texas probably don't know that. You can cut off things and they just grow back. It can be various symptoms from intestinal problems all the way to epilepsy and seizures. Wow, this is really intense information here, and yet so many times with these types of symptoms, if somebody's having a seizure, what are we going to do? Well, we better go to a neurologist. Well, we better go, and we want to go over there, and we treat, typically in our country, we look at the symptoms. Other types of tapeworms are everything from salmon, fish, tapeworms that are in fish, various things. Anyway, they can cause everything from common ailments, common problems, to asthmatic problems, anorexia, abdominal pain, diarrhea. It goes on and on. There's rat tapeworms, dwarf tapeworms, fish tapeworms. Yeah, most of the countries are infected: Europe, Africa, and America.